Hi everyone, my name is Oren, and in this tutorial I'll be explaining how to automate Kemper using Pro Tools. I know most of you won't be using Pro Tools in a live situation, but since I had to do it, I figured a few more people would too. I, for example, use it to create MIDI files and send them off to the person in my band who runs tracks in Ableton. I'll also be explaining how to overcome some of the bugs and difficulties that might rise while using this technique. Feel free to check out the video description to navigate between the different sections of this tutorial. So the first thing I want to do is I want to show my setup real quick. This is a guitar connected to the Kemper using a remote expression pedal. The Kemper is connected through SPDIF going to an optical converter into the Apollo Twin. So we're gonna be playing digital. You can see here that we're on 48, and I just wanted to go through the setup. Before we continue, we have in system page 15 we have channel 7 that's controlling the MIDI. That's coming from Pro Tools. We have in the A slot we have a pitch effect. B, we always have the tremolo. C is the compressor or tube screamer. D, wah-wah. X, stereo widener. Mod is where I put the flanger or chorus. Delay and verb. One other thing that I forgot to show you guys is the MIDI controller, which is this thing here, going to this. Alright, going to a small extension I built because on stage we need a longer cable. Going into Kemper MIDI in. Alright, so before we start, I just wanted to show you guys my setup on the remote, because that might come handy a little bit later on when we're gonna actually automate it. So this is my medium distortion, medium gain. I have some tremolo, chorus or flanger, delay, and some pitch effects. And I use the morph to go between regular and lead. Cool. So, oh, and we have clean, some crunch, the medium, heavy, and of course, some solo effects. Alright, on the software side of things, we have a few things we need to do. So you need to have your song here, and this specific song that we all like was not exactly to grid, so I had to use elastic audio to glue it in there in a few places for this BPM. A few more things we need to do. We need to have a MIDI track that is sending through USB 2 to MIDI port, channel 7, like we saw in the Kemper settings, in the system page 15 I think it was, channel 7. We want to send a beat clock, setup, MIDI, beat clock, USB 2 to MIDI port 2. I choose 2 because I'm trying to keep it separate from the rest of the control changes we're sending. I'm not sure if it even matters. So yeah, with this band we're playing, we always put the song start on bar 5. Okay, and the last thing before we start that I want to show you guys is kind of a cheat sheet I made for myself. Includes some information that I need to know when I'm doing these things. So, this is basically the latency that I have when I'm changing presets, so we'll get to that later. These are the slots, so control change, CC, number 50 would get you to slot 1, 51 would get you to slot 2, etc. And then when you send it again, if you're gonna send 51 and then 51 again, it will morph. And we're gonna use that too. These are my performances, so you want to use program change to switch between performances. We're gonna play this performance, which is program change number 56, which in Pro Tools you're gonna input 55 for some reason, then it switches to 56. I don't know why, but we're gonna do that. You can check the manual to see which number you have to input for which program change. These control changes control the stomp boxes, and these control the effects. Now, if you want to turn on an effect, switch on an effect, for example, delay, you're gonna send a control change. You're gonna send 26 to activate the delay in my case, and whichever number between 1 and 127. So we're gonna give it 64. Now to turn this off, you're gonna wanna input a 0, which is this. And there, it turned off. Now let's try and create a program change. So Command P, performance number 55, which is our song that we're playing, 55, and it's going to show us 56 for some reason. We don't know, no one knows. Let's do it again. 56, all right, and that should get us to the correct performance, number 12. Boom, nice. Okay, so another thing we can do, we can switch between slots. So like we said, Command L and input slot number 3, which is gonna be 52. Give it some value between 1 and 127, 64 for example, and it should go. Nice. Now this might take a really long time, and we don't want to spend all that time doing that. So we're gonna use Keyboard Maestro and create some macros. One for control change. It gives it a value of 64 automatically, like so. Let's try that, show that it works. First you need to have this window open. Okay, so automatically we inputted a value of 64, and let's say we want to put the pitch effect on, number 17. And there we go. Makes it way faster. And for example, to go to solo mode, I'm going to use this keyboard shortcut, Control Command 5, and it automatically inputs everything here that I wanted. And that makes it way easier. So let me just show you those so you can copy them. You can pause the video whenever you want to copy something. There we go. Alright, so I'm just going to do it really fast. On bar 2, I want to switch to our program change. Sorry, we need to do this first. Option equal brings up the MIDI list event. We need to do that first before we can input stuff. So our shortcut, program change 55, that's going to save as 56. Then what we want to do in this song, because I want to start with my first patch, it automatically will go there, with the pitch effect on, which is in our case control change number 17. Alright, so a control change input 17, boom. Next thing we want to do, this is the pitch effect. Now here we want to go to crunch, right? So crunch is slot number 2, and my shortcut for slot number 2 is Control Command 2. So I'm going to go to Pro Tools, and here in bar 25, I'm going to press Control Command 2. We're going to have this thing going on for us. You see it's happening already. Then bar 32, B2 is where we want to go to medium gain, which is number 3. And then in bar 40 is where I want to go to my lead. So I'm basically sending slot number 3, which is CC number 52 again, and it will morph to my lead patch. Now, on this bar is where I want to trigger the pitch effect for this wacky sound here, which is going to be control change number 17 again. The next thing I want to do I want to go to crunch again. On the second beat of this bar, we want to put medium gain again. Here we're going to be on clean, which is the first one. Crunch again here. On the second beat, we have medium distortion. So here, I want to trigger on the fourth beat, I want to trigger my lead again, so I'm going to send number 3 again. But here, I want to actually activate delay. So, a control change, number 26. Why 26? Because this is what triggers my delay. Number 26, my delay is on the delay module. And to turn off the delay, I'm going to turn it off here on the last bar. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to send a control change, number 26, but in this time, instead of 64, I'm going to send 0. 0 would shut it down. You see, it shuts it down. Now, we want to treat a few bugs. The first bug that we want to take care of is sometimes Pro Tools doesn't get the MIDI fast enough if it's at the beginning of a region. So what I do, I take the trim tool and I just trim back just a little bit all of the regions. It doesn't take too long, and maybe just me being superstitious, but I don't know, I feel like it's helping. So we did that. Then the next thing we want to do is basically to fix 2 bugs or issues. The first one is, since Pro Tools is sending MIDI beat along with our MIDI commands, sometimes they interfere with each other. And the way we're going to fix it is by taking everything and pushing it a little bit back, nudging it back. So instead of the MIDI commands to be on the bar each time, it will be a little bit before the bar. And that way they won't interfere with each other. The second thing that the nudge would solve is that it takes a little bit of time for Pro Tools or the MIDI controller to send the commands to Kemper, and then until Kemper switches it. So I basically calculated that, and I noticed that it's 40 milliseconds basically. You can see that here, which equals to that 96 in bars and beats. So that's why I have it on 96 here. And that basically ensures that my effects are being switched on the right time. So I'm just going to click minus here to nudge everything back by this amount, and it should be switching on time. Now the last thing we want to do is to play and see that everything is correct. You don't have to stay and listen to the whole song. The last thing I want to say is if you're exporting a MIDI to control with Ableton, what you want to do is you want to change all these 64s to random numbers. That's because if Ableton sees the same number again with the same patch, it doesn't register it sometimes. So I just put numbers, ascending, and careful not to change the 0 to something else because you want it to cancel the delay. And that's it. It should work in Ableton too. You might have to change, to do some tweaking to the program change in Ableton. My friend who operates Ableton, he uses a plugin called something like CC to program change, because sometimes the program change don't cross over nicely from Pro Tools to Ableton. So that's something you might have to do there. And that's it. We can just play the song. So, performance number 12 with the pitch effect on. The pitch is control change 17, which controls the A stomp up.
I'm drowning, asphyxiated. I wanna break the spell that you've created. You're something beautiful, a contradiction. I wanna play the game, I want the friction.
Activate the pitch effect. Again, 17. Stay an octave low. Messed up. The automation can't fix that. Distortion. The last thing that's gonna happen is we're gonna go to lead. with delay, and then at the last bar, close the delay. Turn it up. With delay. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that it helped you. Feel free to write in the comment section below about any information that I might have left out or didn't know. Alright, until next time.